Okay.
I run paid
Get
ads.
it there? I get it.
Does it look okay, Eric? I think it's good.
I can't really see because this is it would be easier if we used it on that one because this one takes up so much.
Well, you can,
really?
if you just pop it on. Well, say we'll get to a stopping point. So
Yeah, because it's kind of hard for me to turn and see it.
I think it's probably pretty good.
All right. Yeah, we're on here. Okay.
Is this how the video comes in there?
Yeah.
Sideways?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's already people popping on here. I'm taking off mute
Sweet.
here.
All right.
Okay, guys, welcome to episode 6
This is
of
it.
Be Real X Talks. We are live here. I'm here with the special guest, Justin Hart here.
Justin, nice to meet you. I'm just making sure we get lots of promotion here. Oh, there we are live. Okay. Let me get this here. Join in. And I'm just got popping up. My thing is DMs. DMs are what give you the traffic.
Yes, the DM groups. Gotta love those DM groups. Hey, Christelle is out there. Welcome, Christelle. Good to see you. So good to have you. We were just talking about you and Hendo and the Daybreak show, and that's how me and Justin actually met, was on the Daybreak show.
Hey, gang.
So good to have you here listening, Christelle. Thanks so much for being here. Today's episode, we're on episode 6. Today's episode is sponsored by 2 sponsors, Excellenza Executive Transport and also LaunchCart. So you can see here, I'm sporting the brand here. And LaunchCart is an alternative to Shopify. We're American-based, so we're an e-commerce platform. We have over 50,000 stores on our platform.
Okay.
And so we're continuing to grow that. We're getting some investor money in, hopefully any day.
What's the big thing about Launch versus Shopify? I've burned so many terrible midnights working with Shopify. So
Yeah,
if you can solve those problems, I'll tell you.
Yeah, so we have an influx of people coming that are, getting canceled for whatever reasons, number one. And then number 2 is, they have a subscription model for like every single thing. There's an app for that, right? And it's an additional subscription fee, right?
It's like the Salesforce of checkout shopping carts.
Exactly right. So we want to kind of eliminate that, and we built it, for marketers by marketers, right?
Yeah.
So we have one-click upsells, order bumps, all that stuff is like built in. So that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a round peg, get your square hole into Shopify. It just doesn't work, and then you've got to put so many add-ons. Anyway, it's a nightmare. I've gone through. I'll have to check that out. That's great stuff.
Yeah. So it's a great platform, and it's funny because like years ago I used to be on Shopify and I got canceled.
Oh, there's my wife. She's on it too. Hi, Jenny.
Oh, hi, Jenny. Yeah, nice to meet you. Awesome.
They told me I get to take the Tesla home. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So.
No, we are right now. We're a one-car family. And we have a bunch of places to go, but it's basically just it's the minivan and then Uber if we need it. Oh, and we do have like my 6-year-old has like kind of a junker that we can sometimes borrow.
Nice.
But those are it's just like living in San Diego. You make the trade, a second car for being close to the beach. So.
Yes. Yeah. And so speaking of being by the beach, tell us a little bit about your background, Justin, for those that are tuning in or maybe on the replay. Could you maybe introduce yourself and share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm a San Diego-based political consultant by day, AI enthusiast by night, sometimes during the day as well. My mainstay is doing high-end digital strategies, tactics for political campaigns, nonprofit groups. I always say 2 things. One, I do very well at bringing in low dollar amounts for high-end fundraising and everything else there. And then my second thing I say is I apologize because the main medium for which I do fundraising is over text messages. And I'm sure everyone who's listening, their phones are probably blowing up right now with all the political ads that are flying left to right from both sides of the aisle. And half of those are from me, so apologies. But so I grew up in the Bay Area. I'm down here now with my wife, Jenny, who is from this area. But I went to BYU. I then spent a good deal of time out in D.C. I always dreamed of marrying politics and the internet. But I moved out there in '96, and it was still kind of in its infancy. That is the internet in many ways, and so I had to wait about 10 years. But I learned my chops doing high-end digital marketing, and I'm kind of I do it all. I do it from top to bottom. So anything that I say I can that I propose or that I suggest you should do, I can actually build those too. I'm a jack of all trades, a full stack guy as well. So then I kind of got into politics. 2008, had my first clients. I got onto Twitter at X in about 2008, 2009, and I won the first ever Shorty Award for Best Political Use of Twitter. My first political client we hooked up our donation engine to Twitter. So if you made a donation, it would tweet out and say, hey, so-and-so made a donation, and you got referrals, and it was lots of fun. We made it to the front of the Wall Street Journal, and that was my first foray into using all things internet into the political scene. And it went so far, my wife and I were on the Mitt Romney campaign. I was part of special ops there and did a lot of black ops type of stuff. We did a lot of digital fundraising. We did the first ever text to donate type of thing. And then from there, when we go to the big dance and you lose, you sometimes lose a taste for politics. So the next 10 years went back to my roots in tech, and actually in a very unique way. I was one of the startup guys with Surf Air, and Surf Air is one of the first ever all-you-can-fly airlines here in California. Never been in aviation, but it was basically a subscription service, and my job was to bring in all the members. So it was you paid a monthly fee, and then you fly these private planes all up and down the coast of California. It was fantastic. Left there and have been doing since that time, as I say in politics, they always pull you back in. You can't escape it. So right now my day job is doing political fundraising over text messages, but I've always been into an artistic scene. My mom was a terrific performer. She taught me in every avenue of art, every avenue of high fine art and fashion and design and everything else there. And I was in musical theater for a while there. But my love has always been my family too. So I've got 9 kids. It's a Brady Bunch, okay? That is, Jenny has 2 daughters from a previous marriage. I have 3 kids from a previous marriage, and we have 4 altogether. And they range from 30, my oldest kid, down to 10 months.
Wow.
So we've got quite the range of kids. Right now we've got 4 kids under the age of 8 at home, plus her 16-year-old, who's my stepdaughter, who's amazing. And that's our life, is basically just wall to wall, hour to hour, working with these kids, mostly Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. and handling the home while also doing incredible things online for, we hope, our country, and also for this newfound excitement around AI. I first sort of cut my teeth in the AI scene doing machine learning. I did one of the fantasy football machine learnings back in 2016, 2017. I got into TensorFlow. Those of you know, that was kind of like the precursor to LLMs. I had built an Elon bot and a Trump bot, and made them on Twitter and made them talk to each other. But it was all gibberish because I didn't have like kind of the processing power to really give them the nice LLM readings and everything else there. But since that time, since everything has come onto the scene over the last 2 years, one of the things that I appreciate, and I talked about this on Hendo's show, Christina's show, is that the passion that I had around art was something that was always in my mind. I'm colorblind. I've got a shaky hand. I can't write worth a darn. I can't draw. But all of those images, all those visuals, all those things that I could do with all the tool set that I had could finally come to life with just some text, wow. Right? And so that's kind of the passion that I'm bringing. Today, actually, you caught me on a good day. We're launching Newsy.com, Newzy.com. A friend of mine and I kind of put this together. It's a parody website. We're going to be concentrating on a lot of AI stuff. We came out with one of our first videos today. We'll be dropping those over the coming weeks. So that's kind of the passion, just everything I can do around just exerting the creativity that's kind of bound inside me all day long. Wow.
Wow.
And if it's not bound inside me, it's bound inside my kids who are jumping off the walls. Again, I can't thank Jenny enough for the efforts that she has keeping these kids at bay.
Yes. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, behind every great man is an even greater woman.
That's
as
right.
I like to say. So.
And 9 kids.
And 9 kids later. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Justin, for being on the show and hearing more about your story. And I have to say, the AI stuff right now is, being a CMO, right? And you're a fellow CMO as well. So it's like what I used to need in the past, right? With graphics team, videographers, copywriters, all that stuff. Now with AI, literally, what used to need a team of 8, now like I only need like a team of 2, maybe 3 max to
Right.
do the same things. And so not only are you, saving companies money, but you're making them money. Like people like to talk about the mysticism around AI and how businesses can use it and not use it, and is it going to eliminate my job? I mean, the fundamentals are really, look, are you saving a business money, and are you making them more money with the tools?
Right.
And usually in my experience, what tends to happen is, especially in the MarTech stack side, right?
Right.
Is companies will buy Salesforce, let's say, or buy a Ferrari, and they'll only be able to drive it in first or second gear, right?
Oh, it's closed, so we'll have to the grounds are closed apparently. So, but we can drive by it. So,
Okay.
yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. I always take the perspective that my wife has on this thing, right?
Let's park right here and we can walk out a little bit.
Okay,
Is that
sure.
all right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And the perspective that because I've been doing parody videos, a lot of sort of just piece together things. I've done like nationally award-winning commercials for political campaigns, but like you said, I was also chief marketing officer of a large tech company in LA, and I got to know all these tools. I had a team of 17 to 20 people there in LA, and I had a team of 200 people in Serbia that I would go over and see every other quarter or so. And that was crazy, right? The amount, the overhead involved in that. And I remember talking the other day, because bless your heart, Jenny, she doesn't quite get all the AI stuff that I get excited about, right? When I come home and say, oh my gosh, I got to show you this Act 1 tool that Runway just came out with. And can you believe this sort of frame to frame morph transition that I can do with, did you see this? And she's like, I didn't really care when it took you 10 hours, and I'm very happy for you that it takes you 10 minutes now. But you're right, that time savings that's involved, and the manpower saving that's involved with doing these things. Like I just came out with a new one here. It was, you'll have it dropped here. It was kind of funny. You saw that Christopher Nolan just indicated that he's hired 2 big actors for his next film. One is Matt Damon, and then yesterday was announced Tom Holland, right?
Oh, wow.
So I got a video trailer dropping here shortly, which is, it's got the Big David voiceover from 11 Labs, who's got this trailer voice, and it says, from Christopher Nolan, the creator of Inception, starring Matt Damon and Tom Holland, bring to you the next big thriller. And then it kind of goes into this cowboy twang, and there you see Matt Damon and you see Tom Holland, and they're dressed in sort of cowboy fatigue, and they looks over at Matt Damon, right? And the voiceover goes, Brokeback Mountain Part 2, born for Spider-Man, right? It's a quick little parody thing, and usually, if I were going to do all that titling and the animation and Premiere Pro, if I were going to, take all of these sort of stock footage, it would just be like a still with a voiceover of Matt Damon and Tom Holland, right? I'd have to Photoshop their little face onto the cowboys, right? And do just all, it would be so fatiguing. Literally within 45 minutes, I had a working draft of the entire thing, titling, voiceover, all in David. And it's amazing when that works that way, right? So it definitely is like, this time saver for the silly stuff that I do. But then the real time saver comes in what it can do for my side gig stuff. Mm-hmm. And maybe we can talk some more about that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, let's hop out
We'll
real quick
Okay.
and take a look at where we're stopping. We always like to stop at one particular hotspot here on the show.
Wings are going up.
So we're in the Falcon X here. So, Eric, did you want to grab this camera? Keep that going for us? Yeah, thank you.
All right. Where are we here? Okay, so this is still working there? All right, do you know this place, my man?
I've never been here.
Okay, but you know what this kind of, you've seen this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, listen, this is the temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in San Diego. I'm a member of the Mormon Church, the LDS Church. And this is basically, the difference between temples and chapels is where you do kind of the Sunday worship stuff. But temples is where you get married. Temples is where you have special ordinances. It's a very unique place. When my kids pass by this, right, it's always known as the Disney Temple, or my daughters will always say, Elsa lives there, right?
Yes.
And the reason I bring you here is that it's always been an inspiration for me, both on a spiritual plane, but also on an architectural plane. One of the things I've been playing with right now, I've been establishing shots for movies, right? I've got this entire now realm of photos and videos that I've done through Luma and Runway, where I take these imaginary scenes and I put it in La Jolla right here, but it's basically these high-end architectural places. So the temple itself, well,
I don't want to sign in.
Oh yeah, right. So you can kind of see the spires from here, right? So there are 2 massive spires, and then there are 10 other spires. So it's a very interesting architectural piece there. It's about 70,000 square feet inside. It was dedicated in 1993, and it's been in operation since that time. Right now, they've been doing a lot of renovations, and so they're doing renovations on the grounds and everything else there. But this is where Mormons go when they have special needs. They have prayers that they do in here. It's a special reverent place. Think of it like the temple in Jerusalem. That's really what we believe. And there's maybe 200 of these things around the world now. But this is a really unique one. It's very large. There's also a really interesting symbol. It's basically called the Seal of Melchizedek. And there's about 10,000 instances of it here all around the temple. It's something the architect put together. And it basically is a square on a square. And so it's 6 different sort of angles that you have once you get done with it. And it represents sort of heaven and then earth on there, right? And I think there's kind of a platonic forms maybe involved there. That is to say, you always want to know what is the ideal in heaven that someone has for me, or that the ideal, what's the ideal song? What's the ideal picture? What's the ideal life, right? And then you bring it down to earth and things change. You try to strive towards that ideal. As the Bible says, Christ wants us to be perfect, right? And I think in my own life, just in business, everything else, I try to do that too. I try to really strive for perfection. And I'm not necessarily a perfectionist. My wife knows this very intently around the house. But I'm also like one who wants to strive for that one-shot incredible moment, right? So I find a lot of inspiration in the temple and the things that it brings there. It's a really, as you drive up the 5, it's always an icon, and people go, what is that thing, right? Well, that's the LDS temple. So.
Let's walk over there so we can get a better shot of those people in the way. Yeah. I've actually been in there when it was first opened.
Oh yeah? You go through the... generations passed on down. But more so than that, I just love the architecture of this thing. And it's actually, when you would go to some of the LLMs out there, when you go to Disney, when you go to these different places, and you type in, you want to see a building, and you put it in La Jolla, it'll often come up with these spires. So it's not only its own little contained thing, but it's actually now become part of the defining architecture of, if you say, show me a building in La Jolla, illustrate one with magnificent spires somewhere. So it's a interesting piece there. Yeah, you can see off the freeway you may not see it, but it's pretty large. And it's got the two big spires, the 10 individual spires, and there's big glass enclosures. And if you see on the windows there, right, you can kind of see if you zoom in, the square on square symbol that I'm talking about. It kind of looks like a 6-pointed star, but in actuality it's just two squares kind of superimposed on each other. Yeah, and they just recently painted, so it's like glimmering white. It's really shiny white. The angel on top is the angel Moroni, and he's kind of just a symbol of heralding in, Revelation and everything else there. He was the son of Mormon, the guy who compiled the book from our history. Anyway, so that was just kind of where I thought of bringing it today.
I heard that they actually have something in there to prevent electricity.
Some type of lightning.
Yes, lightning rod.
Probably,
protection.
yeah.
I heard about that as well when I
Because
found
it definitely is. I mean, this is one of the pictures that they call out when you're coming in on the FAA. You'll see the Temple of Right, this one down here, and everything else there. So it's a cool picture of land. And inside is beautiful, very white.
Now, they don't allow tours anymore, right?
No, they don't. Now, I think they're going to have, I can't remember, this is just an outside refurb of everything. If they have an internal refurb, then they'll have, again, like kind of people can come in and tour. But I think right now it's still closed down.
How often do you attend here?
Well, not very much right now, but it's closed right now. But it depends on when you want to go. You kind of go when you want to go.
Well, thanks for being on here. Yeah, this is definitely a hallmark icon here in San Diego. Like you're saying, off the 5, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for the backstory here. Awesome. All right, guys, well, we're going to head back into the car and we're going to head to lunch here. And if you guys want to grab the mic here, me and Justin are going to continue the conversation. And feel free to grab the mic. We'd love to have you ask any questions to our special guest, Justin Hart here. And Eric's over there as well, holding the camera.
And
So, yeah.
I'm working.
Thanks so much, guys, for being on today's show. And yeah, we're doing dual cameras now, so we'll get the YouTube footage up as well. So, yeah, and then speaking of utopic, so I have a utopic view on X.
What's that?
And that is like all the creators that are going to X now, so that they can monetize. Not just from ad revenue, but other means as well, right? So, for example, sponsorship deals, affiliate marketing, and I see a big trend right
one of the challenges that you got going here. Want to pop that in there too, or there you go.
You want to work?
There you go.
We're making it work.
All right.
All right.
How does this go down? Just this way here?
Just hit the button right there.
Don't want to snap you off. Almost snapped Eric's head off there. Sorry.
No, Elon makes it where it won't kill you.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's good to know.
Those Cybertrucks are smashing fingers, though, right?
Yeah, and so you can see this issue, this challenge mirrored in the tools that we have to use, right? Because the problem is with you've seen these repeated memes, the drowning meme, right? Mm-hmm. Where there's a kid and the mom's helping one kid, another one's drowning, and then someone superimposed, the skeleton underneath the water, right? Yeah. And invariably, it's been like Luma, Midjourney, Runway, and then Kailu, and all these other ones, right? All these tools that you can use to create image to videos and images themselves, and then they all trade spots based on who's on top. Like right now, for example, I was playing with Ideogram and their canvassing, and it's really spectacular. But then I just saw that our friend Nick Newberg came out and said, oh yeah, it looks like Midjourney is still releasing their big editor, which is coming out today. And one of the things you realize is something that was leaked, and I've mentioned this before in a couple shows, by a Google developer, and this was just a month or two after the incredible success of 3.5, OpenAI 3.5 and ChatGPT. And people were having their first tries at doing these LLMs and realizing, oh my gosh, this really can make a difference. This isn't just a failed app. Like when people get 2 or 3 tries into ChatGPT and it's like changing the way they work, all of a sudden their minds just start going crazy, right? Yeah. And the competitors went crazy. Google had been working on this forever. Remember, Google, TensorFlow was Google's baby. The whole LLM idea came from researchers at Google. And so they were caught just flat-footed. So they scrambled. Anyways, a document leaked by one of the key developers at Google as they were trying to scramble and get Gemini up and running was that he said this great line, there is no moat. Meaning that there's no definable way right now on the technology basis that you can say ours is better than theirs or it will be, right? Wow. And you see this with the leapfrogging of the LLMs, and now with all the tools. I mean, just in the last 48 hours, I've seen 3 new image to video, text to image, text to video tools come out, and one of them is really, really good. And one of them is open source, right? Wow. And so when you have all these tools coming out, now the challenge is we're kind of getting beyond the coolness factor. Right? That is to say, this is really cool, we need to have this out here. And instead, we're getting onto the issue of what are you going to do with it? Yeah. Right? Like I've since, I used to, put out like daily little animations and practicing, and was kind of getting to know all the tools, right? Well, I'm kind of beyond that now because I can't keep up with the tools. Yeah. And 2, I need to figure out like what's really going to do it. Like, yeah, I've gotten a couple stipends from some of these tools when they say, hey, we're coming out with a new tool, will you promote it and use it? And they'll say, we'll pay for it. I'm like, okay, that's fine, great. Nice. But that's been far and few between, right? Yeah. Jenny knows that. She's like, what are you spending all this time? Is this really going to pay any bills, right? And the question is, like, with all these plethora of tools that are out there, how do you really, define the difference? How are you going to differentiate yourself from the others? Yeah. And like, people have tried a couple things like Pika, for example, had this really interesting thing where you could do a pre-formatted template like Squish or Dissolve or Crush or Explode, right? And that was kind of fun to play with for about a week. Yeah. And now you're like, well, what am I gonna use that for? Yeah. Right? and so I think, I encourage people to keep working in this, keep trying to find that stuff. But I would say you should move very quickly towards storytelling. Like, why is it, your cool animation and morphs are one thing, but you can only get away with some of the esoteric stuff for so long, right? You're going to have to really burst into the scene there.
Speaking of storytelling, so I think the ways that I see people standing out and companies standing out with all this AI is really getting back to storytelling, right? Like every personal brand has their own story. Yeah. Brands have their own storylines, and brands mature, right? And so how can you leverage storytelling with AI and incorporate it, right? That's number one. And, really authenticity, right? So like we don't really know, like, oh, is this an AI generated image or not, right? It's like we can't really tell, and so how we can, I mean, for me personally here, like how I'm using AI and differentiating myself and my personal brand is through my storytelling and through my authenticity, and also like, this whole like building in public and just, embracing like, hey, this is my story, and so that seems to be resonating with a lot of people, right? Like that's
well, and I would think,
and it all comes down to trust.
Yeah,
right?
and I think anything you can do. So the idea is, you want to find things that you can make more efficient with this, right? Like the coolness factor is great, and if you can bring some ideas to life with that, like I'm a big fan of Suno and Udio and everything else, doing the audio stuff, right? The music, which I think is tremendous. So if you can find ways to combine all these tools, that's exciting, right? Like the workflow I just had in producing this trailer, which was basically, I had the idea, I texted my colleague from the Newsy site, I said, do you think this is something we can put up there? It's not political, but it sounds kind of fun. He says, awesome, go to it, right? And it really didn't take that long at all. I said, I was trying on Midjourney, but Midjourney doesn't like me using names of actors and everything else there. They're like big into the IP, and they don't do well with titling, and so I went over to Ideogram, and I was using their canvas, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is perfect. Because first I went to ChatGPT and I said, here's what I want to do. Write for me the script, write for me the cut lines, write for me the voiceover, boom, 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 right? Wow. Something that would have taken me hours, and it's got it all burned out right there. And I said, also, why don't you go through another pass and give me the image prompts, right? So it gave me the image prompts. I simply cut and paste the image prompts, and now I've got the titling into the pictures of Tom Holland, into the pictures of Matt Damon, into the pictures of Tom Holland with a cowboy hat and a Spider-Man suit, and then them just like looking fondly into each other's eyes for the great cut moment, right? And then I went over to 11 Labs. While that's processing all the videos, I was using Runway this time. I went over to 11 Labs, and I said, okay, I need a good trailer voice. And it comes up with David, and David's got this great voice for trailers. So I use his voice for trailers, and I say, I go back to ChatGPT and I say, hey, you gave me, this really detailed cut scene with all these prompts. Can you just pull out the script for the voiceover and give it to me? Boom, copy, paste, David, MP3, done. Drag and drop it in the feed. Literally within 45 minutes, the entire trailer was done.
Wow.
And that's always fun when you can make those things happen like that. But think about, more broadly, what can you do to make your life more efficient? I talked about this on some of the other shows as well. So, for example, I do these fundraising text messages. They're perfect for LLMs, right? It's basically small text. If it's an SMS, it's less than 120 characters. If it's an MMS, it's 400 to 700 characters or 1,500 characters with an image. And so I've got 4 years of success and failures of these things, right? And so I can know like what works. This is the opening line, and when do I use that opening line? Everything else there. And so now I can train these models, these RAGs, on all these text messages. Now I've basically just reduced the time it takes to do my job by about 60-70%, because it'll get me the template started, and then I can do that. Now I still have that human intervention, which is I know what works, and I have from my experience, right? Like that's there. And that's something that I think is going to be difficult to replicate, but not impossible. Yeah. So you just got to be warned. And one of the things that LLMs do is the chat GPTs, they humble you, because you realize very quickly that your uniqueness can be captured very quickly.
Yes.
Which is great for efficiency, but bad for your ego.
Yeah, true. Yeah, speaking of that point, so like I'd say, now that I can program an entire LLM like on my persona, my brand colors, my fill in the blank, I mean, yeah, I've become so much more productive, but it gets me to a certain point where it's like 80% done, right? But then there's still that 20% where I have to go in, I have to massage some things, right? And then even when it comes to like interacting with people online, when it comes to selling products, people's as well as I do, being in the digital marketing space, like people's behaviors of how they buy like doesn't necessarily change, right? So those are those fundamentals that like you and I do on a day-to-day basis that don't change. Yes, AI can help us be more productive, it can save us time, but essentially you really have to understand the fundamentals of like the buyer psychology, right? The how to drive conversion optimizations on certain landing pages,
Sure.
and fill in the blank. But text messaging, let's talk about that for a second, because I highlighted that for Christelle out there. Good to see you, Christelle and Dominic, and we have some few other people out there. But so text messages, have an over 90% open rate, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the main reasons why they're so powerful. Now, how do you get around the regulation? This is a question I have for you. When it comes to, because I know from a B2B marketing standpoint, I can go
Right.
have a field day
If
with
you
that.
have a confirmed customer. Well, so Jenny was one of the top copy editors for email fundraising in our heyday, right? And email was the name of the game 10 years ago. That was where you made most of your digital money or your low dollar donations for political campaigns, nonprofit groups, charities, and everything else there. But email is a shadow of its former self, right? Like I have so many emails that just I don't even pay attention, right? I mean, my unread email count is up to about 3 million across all my. It literally is, because I just get a lot of tests and everything else.
Yeah.
But the deal is with text messaging and fundraising and what we call peer-to-peer texting. It's perfectly legal because I'm not automating it. I actually have hundreds of people that are out there pressing send on the message, okay, from a phone number. So that's how it makes it, because you can't send an automated robocall unless someone has robotext, unless someone has signed up for, your 10-digit code.
So as long as they're opting in, you're good, right?
It's not even an opt-in necessarily. It's like, well, we identified, hundreds of thousands of phone numbers, and through, either the donation and everything else there, and because we have these, but as a group, we're very judicious about it. So, like, we'll have when we have a text message, we'll test it to a small subset of that, like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 names, and we'll say, hey, how did this go? Again, we don't, because of the way that text messages are set up, we don't know exact open rates, but we presume it's probably 80 or 90% or more, right?
Yeah.
But we do get click-throughs, right?
Yeah.
We can track click-throughs. So those click-throughs will come, and then people will make a donation. Now, if a text message has a response rate, if 12 people out of the 4,000 people give a donation, that's a successful text. And so we don't need a lot, because unlike email, which costs are basically zero in many ways, text messages cost us like 1 or 2 plus cents, 3 cents, right?
Yeah.
And so those are the reality of the thing, that the carriers charge you for that, and we have to make up the cost. So we have, but the reason why campaigns love this is it's basically prospecting. They're looking for new donors because they know if they get someone to donate to them, then that person is worth X amount of dollars down the road, their lifetime value.
Yeah.
So we take all of that into account when we look at the models and everything else there. But we do a lot of both machine learning to understand, like, okay, here's our list of 6 million names, and here's our list of, so many 100,000 donors.
Are you incorporating some of that with like Facebook ads as well, or is it just strictly email?
It's strictly
and text?
Ours is just texting and email.
Okay, got it.
But I mean, we've tried some of the ad stuff, right? And in 2012, during the presidential campaigns, we were sitting there and we had representatives from Google and from Facebook sitting right arm in arm with us so they could approve ads right away.
Oh, nice.
The Democrats had that too, right?
Yeah.
And so it was basically that. But now it's hard to make a lot of money, and because there's so much scrutiny on ads and everything else, especially on Facebook, it's not terribly worth it. But we also do like right now we're gonna after we get past the election, it'll be Thanksgiving and the holiday season, and we raise a lot of money for veterans groups, for groups that are helping veterans with PTSD. We have one group that, for example, sends care packages to military personnel serving abroad. We've got charities, cancer charities. We've got canine charities. So that we do a lot of things beyond the political scene that really come into play here in the holiday season too. Awesome.
Yeah, guys, well, listen, we got about 8 minutes left here, so feel free to grab the mic. I want to highlight Dominic out there. Sorry, Dominic. We got Dan Roeder, we got Christelle, and we got Jason Digital out there. Jason, good to see you.
Yeah, it's a funny scene right now because things are moving so quickly, and we're on the cusp of some automation. Now, I highlighted for Hendo and Christelle that one of the things that I do, for example, is I come in the morning and I have an entire process where I basically say, here are the texts that I'm working on today. Like, for example, I've got all of these nonprofit groups, and I'll say, it's coming to the holiday season. I want you to craft for me X amount of text. And it'll spit it out. It'll spit out the images. It puts it all there. And the other thing that I have doing on the side is I've got a couple Substacks and blogs and everything else there. Now, I mentioned I had 9 kids, did I, right?
Yes.
So basically, my whole day is in data and diapers. And details and everything else.
Data, diaper, and details.
Yeah,
I love it.
And so the idea is, like, I've got to find ways to be really good at efficiently at being efficient in my job. So, for example, this morning, I know there's a lot of AI news out there. So I go out, I've created a Python script. Again, I used Cursor. I'm kind of a coder, so I know what I'm doing, but it would have taken me 10 times the amount of time. I said, here's a web page. I want you to go to it. I want you to scrape off these 10 articles that are kind of highlighted about text, about AI stuff. I want you to go to those articles. I want you to use ChatGPT. I want you to summarize all those articles. Then I want you to use my style of writing to compose a blog post that puts it all in perspective. And then I have a political blog, right? And I have a COVID blog, because I somehow in the middle of this whole thing became like the de facto head of the anti-mask crew during the COVID years. And so I have a lot of subscribers over there, and they want content, right? I don't have time for content, so I go out and find this stuff early morning, news articles, medical articles, whatever I can find, spits it all together. I put the finishing touches, I give it all the rundown, and I say, that's it, that's perfect. And then I just started, for example, another one using the Google LLM, the notebook, right? One of the most boring documents, but it impacts everyone's lives. No one knows about it. It's called the Federal Register. And it's boring. Every weekday it comes out. It's like 200 to 500 pages. It's what your federal government is doing every day of the week from all these agencies, right? But no one can read through that thing. So I plop it in an automated fashion into Google Notebook, and now it can go through it and highlight for people in a podcast what's happening on a daily basis, right? And that's got about 5,000 to 6,000 listeners a day now.
And that's pretty much automated?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm able to
gosh.
use a Python script to cut up the PDF. I upload the PDFs, and in fact, I've even to make it more sort of appealing, I've got like a Luma script that goes up and uses the API to build out a whole bunch of videos for the background, which is like animated of the Capitol building and everything else there. So I try. Well, it can be even better though. I know, right? And Claude just yesterday came out with this really interesting computer takeover. Did you see that there?
I did.
Basically, they're building a script on its API where it'll now be able to go to your computer and start performing tasks for you.
I saw that. Yeah. Let's get Christelle up here.
Oh, Crystal, let's see. Yeah.
Christelle, how you doing? Come on up here, and then we'll go to Dan and then Dominic.
Hi, so good to see you all. Sorry, I'm saying Dominique, so please excuse me. Justin, thank you. Now I know it's Dominic.
Yeah, sorry, Dominic.
Good to
sorry,
see you
man.
all. Good to see you,
Hi, Christelle.
Justin and
Good to see you.
and Dan. Hi, Justin. Good to see you. This is so cool. And hi, Eric.
Hi,
Thank you
Christelle. How are you?
driving so safely
Of course.
and getting the precious cargo around. I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, just living the dream, soaking it all
Yeah,
in. How you feeling?
I just wanted to come up and say hi. I'm good. Just got done putting in a good day's work,
Good.
So I'm happy to be chilling. This is good. The camera angle
She's
is
a real
little
working woman now. She's
weird
at the
for me
9 to
right
5.
now.
Wait a minute, she said something about the camera angle
I
as
got
well.
it.
Well, it's sideways, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Do you see it? Yeah, I don't know. It's
Do you-
okay. I
do
can
you guys
see
need to
with my
adjust it?
phone.
I don't know. If you put it this way,
It's all good.
right? I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
Because
I think it's broadcasting sideways.
yeah, before it was like sitting at the top of the space.
Is it broadcasting sideways too?
Or is it not showing?
Yeah, now it's broadcasting sideways, but before
Don't know
it
what's
was
going on.
like landscape mode, but on top of the space. But
I
all
don't know.
good. I can still see you all. I'm just kind of turning my head to see. Just kidding.
I haven't done the video.
That's weird.
Well, I think if you turn it
Ian
this
is
way.
here. So good to see you.
Oh no, that ain't the way it goes. Backwards, but
There we go.
shrink in.
Yeah.
All right, that works.
Yeah, it's a little shrinky
So what we need to do,
Like you're right next to us.
we need this we need this spaces to go viral. So what we'll do is like we're watching, we're talking to you, Christelle. Like, oh my God! Ah! We back, then I can superimpose some video from runway of the car exploding, and I think we're good to go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a viral spot.
That'll definitely go viral. Not as viral as
Justin Hart is the automation king.
yeah.
The automations that Justin describes, I haven't heard anything like it. And not just that, but he's also automating children. I mean, to have 9 children in 2024, it's like at some point you're just like on. So yeah, you're killing it. I love it so much. God bless you and your wife. And you
Thanks.
said you got one car for all of you. I love it. We're a one car family too, but one child. So
There you go.
I definitely feel that. But yeah, just good to see you all.
Thanks, Christelle.
I've been watching and it's been great. Justin, I love these Be Real X talks. It's so cool.
You're on the list,
And
Christelle.
I
You
can't
know that.
wait to
You're on the
come
VIP
there,
list.
Or you come to Miami. You know what I was thinking about sitting here looking at you? I'm like, wow, since the last one, you definitely look more slender and fit. Like
He looks pretty good, right?
it.
Yeah.
He's
He looks
showing me up. I
great.
gotta.
Like, we're literally watching Justin. I don't want to say just like lose weight. It's not just about losing weight, but like actually get really fit, and I love it. So yeah, looking good. Both of
thank
you
you.
both look strong and healthy, and like you love the Lord, which is great.
Amen.
All right, I'll let
Amen.
somebody
Thank
else
Christelle.
speak.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thanks for the
Christelle.
fellowship. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're on the VIP list. You know it.
So on that Anthropic take over the computer thing, there was a really interesting in the thread there. And if you didn't catch, it was like 4 things down. And I think several people, including myself, said, WTF?
Yeah.
Because the computer basically was ordered, or was asked to go pull down some weather or some data from somewhere, right? And so it runs on your API, so you're running it basically on like a terminal, and it opens up your browser, and then you can see it going places, right? It's like, oh, okay, what's it doing? But and it's super costly and everything else, but it's really interesting to try. At one point, it seems like the AI got bored and randomly started pulling up pictures of Yellowstone.
Oh, wow.
It's so it reminds me of another sort of tucked away article that was in the back of some Aero Defense Space Program newsletter, and it was talking about how they had either run simulations or actually run it. I think it was just simulations on a computer or otherwise, where they said, hey, we have these surface-to-air missile sites, right, that we want to take out. And so they basically put AIs into the drone to say, can you find these sites better than we can, and can you take them out, right? But they basically would give the final, and so the main instructions of these drones were, go to these sites, find them, destroy them, kill them outright, right? Those are the main instructions. So the drone is up there, but the final go, no go, kill decision is human operated. And all of a sudden the drone gets pissed off because the human person starts waving them off, saying, no, don't take out that one, right? And so all of a sudden the drone says, how do I fix this? Oh, I know. I'll take out the drone operator. So in the simulation, it actually would drone bomb the operator so that it could go take out the sim sites.
Come on, really?
And so again, so they gave instructions. They said, look, Mr. Drone, don't go bombing your user because he's the main guy. Okay, I won't do that. He bombed out the communications tower so that he could take his own shots. So those are some of the real challenges that might be unleashed from some of this.
Wow.
But and Anthropic is really, really careful about this whole thing. But also, there's a lot of pressure to release stuff on a weekly basis. So get ready for some of that. It should be interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, let's go to one more question here. Dominic and then Dan, and we'll wrap up here. So Dominic, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Justins. I appreciate it. I just had a question for Justin Hart. What was one of the veterans groups that you would help out? Just curious.
Sure. Hero Box is one of them. They send goodies and personal items overseas in boxes. Semper Canine, one of my favorite groups. They train dogs for PTSD veterans. Soldier Strong, they make these incredible exoskeleton suits for veterans who are wounded or otherwise. We had a thing the other day where one of the veterans used these soldier suits to throw out the first ball at a baseball game. And we've got a couple other ones that we do there, but those are the main ones there.
That's awesome. I just recently heard about Heroes Box about like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
So, awesome.
They do great stuff. We've been working with them for 4 years, and we love raising money for those folks.
That's awesome. Thanks for all you guys do.
Thanks, Dominic. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dominic. Good to see you. Keep up those workouts, brother. Yeah, you're inspiring me.
Oh, and by the way, when Christelle had mentioned it, I think it's because you took on that ninja persona, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, ever since I started going Ronin style, like I just stepped.
Ronin, that's what it was.
Yeah. Ever since I made a new commitment like months ago when, you know, my health was like really bad, and you know I used to be a personal trainer back in the day, you know, so but I just kind of stepped into this. So the difference between a Ronin and a samurai traditionally is a samurai has a master.
Okay.
But a Ronin is masterless.
Oh.
So I've been kind of rebranding myself as a revenue Ronin.
I love it.
And so, yeah, I'm just, you know, with the full body workout, you know, building the mind first, building the body, building the business, building a bank account, and most importantly, building the legacy. So
I love it.
That's what
great.
I'm stepping into.
That's terrific.
So thank you, Dominic, man. I'm glad it's working and it's, you know, getting the attention, right? That's what it's all about these days. So thank you so much for the support, Dominic. Good to see you, brother.
When I start working out, I want you all to tell me that you see every half pound dripping off.
Okay.
Even if you don't see me, just tell me, okay?
You got it.
That's
It'll be
built
motivating.
into my DNA now. I've with my wife and 9 kids. So yeah.
Yeah, let's go over to Dan Roeder and then we'll wrap it up here. Dan, how you doing?
Just a second, can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Hi, Dan.
Can anybody stall for 45 seconds?
Oh, we can stall. We can
Sure,
stall.
sure.
Let me go to
Thing I can say.
John real quick here. Let's get John up here. Yeah, hey, welcome, John. How you doing? What question do you have for Justin? Good to see you.
Yeah, hi Justin.
Hey,
Everyone.
John.
I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah.
No, I was just wanted to have a comment on the Anthropic thing. You know that it's I've seen it before. There's a few open source projects as well, and yeah, I mean, giving you know, in all the movies, giving the AI control of the computers, it doesn't end well. So we're in some uncharted territory. It's going to be fun. So great seeing you. I didn't even know the video space thing was already on. So it's really cool to see you guys.
It's my first time on a video spaces too. I've mostly just hid behind the mic, thankfully. But now you know Justin is showing me up, so I gotta live up to the namesake and try to shed some pounds here too. But no, that's great. That's really, look. I think I am a big optimist when it comes to AI stuff, and I kind of think of the threat as probably on the side of Y2K overblown. But again, I've heard people walk through scenarios where it's not at all. And so the computer takeover can be risky, can be interesting. But I always think in terms of, you know, what am I doing that I can have someone else do for me? And I remember that in my entire career, it's been the case. Even like 1994, my first job at an investment bank was taking a bunch of Excel files and putting it together and giving it to, print it out to 7 different people, right? And that was my entire job all day. Getting a bunch of faxes, taking a bunch of numbers, putting it into an Excel sheet, printing it out, and giving it to 5 different partners there. And I hated that job. It was my first job, like it was my freshman, sophomore year of college. And so I said, what am I going to do? And I automated. I called up Microsoft. I got a macro going, and I turned my job that was 7 hours into basically an hour. And my dad said, and he's a great boomer, but he, you know, from that generation, been with the same job for 45 years. And he said, why'd you do that? You're going to lose your job. I said, no, they'll put me onto something better, you see. And I think that's the whole thing. Don't be afraid of this. Try to make, you know, something better in your life. Make it better for other people. Make money off of that, and they'll put you onto something else.
Love it. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thanks, John, for coming up here. Dan, real quick, we got about 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Oh, amazing.
amazing. No, that was a great stall. That was great.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, like I timed it out so that I'm like, I can run into the store and then I was at the register and like, as you're like, hey Dan, like what's up? Okay, that is karma. But I just want to say, Justin, both of you, it's great to see you. Justin, I've been meaning to pick your brain for a while. I know we were chatting a couple months ago just about workflows, and I'm so excited because I'm kind of finding my like my stride as a creator, and especially with AI and with automation and with making more time in the day, and with kind of valuing myself more. That's been all part of this whole creator journey. And Justin, I gotta say too, Justin French, you are in beast mode. I saw that tire you were pushing, and I was like, oh man, like you're in Spartan mode, you're in Ronin mode, and it's really inspiring to see that and to be sharing that. And so I think all of us together, as we get to know each other better and kind of show up more, that's what I think really moves the needle, is just the act of showing up. I'm just thankful for this whole community, and I am manifesting riding in that car as well. Justin, you gave the invitation. I have the project. I run a nonprofit, and we have a class that we want to do in San Diego. So let's chat.
Oh, great! Great.
Yeah, so let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's. I'll DM me again, so you're at the top of my list there. I'd love to see you, Dan.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, you've been inspiring me too, Dan, with your singing and also all your great scenery there in Spokane, where my godmother lives. I miss that area. It's been a long time. I need to get back there. I miss that area. And yeah, man, I appreciate you, Dan. I see you putting in those runs as well. And yeah, we're just leveling up together. You're a fellow Ronin in the making yourself. So appreciate you, Dan.
Wow,
That's great.
Appreciate you.
And the whole Spokane piece, I have a piece of moon cargo going up to the moon because of the Spokane connection, because we moved to Spokane. And it's a long story. I won't get into that, but it resulted in just getting something out there. It connected with something else, and then it connected with somebody else, and now something is happening. So that's the
great.
formula. Reach out and connect.
I've got a stepdaughter at Puget Sound going to college up there.
Oh wow,
so.
right there in Oregon. Yeah. That's in Oregon, right? Or
Oh
is
no,
that
it's
Washington? Oh yeah. Okay, you're right. Puget Sound.
Yep,
Yes. Gotcha.
That's the west side.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna walk up to the storefront here, so we're gonna go grab some Mediterranean here, and yeah, Eric, you want to grab this one here, and then we're gonna sign off. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Be Real X Talks with yourself, with your host Justin Hart, your host French. There's the Falcon Wings there. You got Eric. You got Justin Hart, our special guest there, and we're gonna go eat at Baba Kebab here. So this is one of the best restaurants here in Mediterranean.
Right across from the vape shop and the tattoo place.
Yes, you can't miss it. So the guy's story, he goes into his 4-hour, 5-hour process of how he makes the rice, pulls out the starch and all that. And
Ruhala.
Ruhala is his name. Yes, we're gonna have a nice meal here. But any final words here, Justin?
No, I think just be passionate about what you do. Don't be afraid of it, and try to make converts. We need converts of people to this incredible new wave, because they're going to need it, because it's going to hit them one way or another. So.
Awesome. So until next time, guys, continue to build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, and most importantly, build that legacy. At the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I make a difference? Until next time, we'll see you at the top.
Cheers.
Peace and love, guys.
Peace.
Oh, it's funny, guys.
All right, we did it, Justin.
Well, this is still a little bit of B-roll.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You want to go say hi to Ruhala?
Yeah, let's say hi to him. Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, we're still rolling on this one,
We're
so.
rolling on this B-roll now.
Yeah, man, we're hanging out, having a good time, man.
There's Ruhala right there. I already called him and prepped him. So, Ruhala, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hey, fellas.
Hi.
Hey man, this is the best Middle Eastern in San Diego. Remember, if you ever come to San Diego, Baba Kebab, come say hello
I usually
to
get the
Ruhala
yeah,
and
say
his,
hi to
and
him.
his family.
I usually get the chicken
Alrighty.
kebab combo.
People combo, that looks really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
You want to sign out on this one,
Yeah, guys,
Justin Squared?
Thanks, Eric, for all you do there. No, great to meet you guys in here.
Oh.
Man, Justin, that was fun. Let's do it again. I think we could.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely,
man.
guys.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
We'll see you on the next episode. Until next time, stay hungry, stay humble. We'll see you at the top.
Amen.
Peace. Thanks, Eric.
Peace.